What is going on, guys? It's Viking here again, and if you're tuning in for the first time and or for hopefully the 8th, thank you. Let's crack a beer. Now, the guys here at Nomad, we tried a little something new this week. Tried to do it with three of us, Brad, Caleb, and I, Rocket and Can-Do, and Viking, as you might also know us. Tried to do 3 in-studio recording. Now, what came out of it? A lot of good conversation. It really was progressive. Really hit a lot of topics. Negative side of that is the equipment that we currently have doesn't necessarily support 3 people at once. There was definitely a couple times where the microphone got knocked. The sound quality isn't quite what it is, and I was thinking about doing something different this week, but instead decided that the quality of the actual content was good enough. That the sound quality, I don't really care if it takes that much of a hit. I'm going to drink this beer because it's staring at me since I opened it. And I just couldn't turn down an opportunity to crack a beer and just kind of talk to you guys. A couple things that we aren't going to miss this time, though, going to switch up the format a little bit, put them first, is Keanu's tips of the week. And for those of you guys that don't know, Keanu, the leader of CDC, great fucking guy. He's out there at just about every milsim there is. So if you ever see Keanu, go ahead and say hi. Tell him that you listen to his tips on the podcast, or check his team out at CDC Airsoft. I believe that's what their Instagram is. Excuse me. Talking a little bit too fast, drinking too much beer. Anyways, without further ado, Keanu, what's the tip of the week?
Don't call other people's hits. If they don't call it the first time, just shoot them again. They'll eventually call it. It's cringy to call somebody else's hit.
What a great tip, especially with what the future content is going to be about. It's actually the 3 of us boys sitting down, talking about advice that we could give to new players. So, without really getting too much into it, that's actually one of the best things you can do as a new player, is to not kind of get yourself ousted as that person that calls other people's hits. It's a lot better to be that person that calls your own hits, especially if you're new getting into the sport. A lot of people wonder how you tell when you're hit. There's no paint or anything, but you definitely know. It hurts if it hits you in the meat, and if it hits you in your play carrier or anything like that, you hear the sound. And just be honest. If at the end of this, if you could take one thing home, it would be honest. One other thing, though, just because I didn't want to break up the later part of the podcast, because we were really on a roll of what we were talking about. Really, forgot to turn my notifications off again. Remember, write a memo for episode 12 where we are at perfection. There's another one. There's a third one. What great timing. Remember to turn those things off. Just turn those fucking things off. Someone in the comments write down how to turn off all my notifications while still doing things on my computer. But great way to segue into Facebook conversations. This week's great fucking guy of the week, random call. Let's get it here. It's Graham McCullough. I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm gonna ask that when I call, but it's actually a newer member of the airsoft community that's been really going out of his way to come out and play with the Nomad boys. Can't confirm or deny that we might be eyeing him up for the team, but he's currently a free agent if anyone out there is looking for just a really good dude, and we're going to go ahead and give him a surprise call here. Kind of hit him with some tips that he wish he knew when he was first getting into airsoft, so let's give this a go.
Hey, dude.
Graham, how's it going, buddy?
Good, man, you?
Good. You're actually the surprise great fucking guy of the week on the Nomad podcast.
No way.
Yeah, buddy. We're doing this week's on talking about just new players in the sport. Couldn't really think of someone better to ask than you. You've been how long you been playing airsoft for now?
I would say December or January, so it's definitely been less than 8 months. I kind of dove full frontal right into it. I was loving it right from the get-go.
Yeah, I remember because you were doing the indoor games at NQ when we first met, right?
Yeah, I rented the very first time. I knew from that moment on I wanted it. Went to the store the next day, bought a gun. That was the G17, the standard Glock, and from there I've never looked back.
Beauty, buddy. So, being that you're kind of like an anomaly of being a new player that got so hard into the sport without much of a fallback, if you could say one or two tips for new players looking to get in, what would you say?
Definitely sponge up all the information that's around you because there's a lot of it. I wasn't able to take apart a gun or tell you what was what 6 months ago, 8 months ago, and now I'm a little more savvy. There's more guys that have lots more knowledge, so I'm still sponging it up, but it never stops.
That's beauty, buddy. One last thing, since haven't got a real chance to ask you this, especially now that you're being recorded saying it. You've been coming out with the Nomads quite a bit. What is your honest opinion of Nomad on and off the field?
On and off the field?
Yeah, because we're totally different.
One sentence, nice and clean, a bunch of beauties. Honestly, I've never had a group that I can go and play and shoot each other with, and you guys work through your problems like I've never seen before. There's always those friend groups that like to gossip. You guys aren't the case with that, so it's pretty amazing. On the field, it's quite the experience. I've gotten used to playing kind of solo, so once you bring that team aspect into things, it's unparalleled. You can't beat it.
Well, killer buddy, great words to hear. I'm sure I'll be talking to you in a couple minutes after I edit and post this podcast, but I'll see you in a little bit. Thanks for being such a great guest, and hope you listen to the podcast.
Of course, man, I will.
Have a great fucking day. What's going on, guys? I'm Viking. I'm here with
Can Do
and
Rocket.
This is the Nomad Podcast. Hey guys, and thanks for joining the Nomad Podcast again. It's your boy Viking here. Just sending a quick message. This video, like always, is sponsored by Niagara Quartermaster. Located at 622 Welland Ave in St. Catharines. Primarily the place where all the Nomad boys and girls buy all their stuff. So if you have time, go ahead, stop in, check out their selection. They have great staff and very friendly environment. So let's get this podcast going. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is episode 7. Joined here with Caleb and Brad, a.k.a. Rocket. That's the other way. Rocket is Brad. Can Do is Caleb.
Hi. Nice to meet you, by the way. I'm a big fan.
Got a couple of the guys from the team here in studio.
Whoa.
Feels good to say that.
Fancy.
It's not the spare bedroom, but the studio.
Yeah, it's definitely not my spare bedroom. We're cracking a few beers and figured we'd discuss a topic that's kind of been asked a lot, and that's something we had talked about a few times, is advice to give to a new player.
Yeah.
Don't start.
Maybe rob a bank before you can afford to start the game.
It's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even really that expensive, though. Like, if you're not like us that think you have to have one of everything or the coolest of something, you can get away with, a couple $100 and you're in the sport to just get to play.
Yeah.
$600 and you're laughing. Realistically, 600.
Yeah, 600, even 5.
I guess if you just want like
Bare minimum.
Basic gear.
very
Yeah.
like magazine in your pocket style, I would say 500.
Actually, you know what? First thing I would have to say, though, don't buy a used rifle as your first rifle.
No, don't ever
If
do
possible,
that.
don't ever buy a secondhand rifle unless it's someone you really know and trust.
Yeah.
Or the store is like selling it, right? Because chances are
some
they
sort-
looked it over, it works, whatever have you.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, we reached out to the community on this one and kind of asked, what are some of the things you guys want to hear? What are some of the? We know we have a lot of new players that are fans of Nomad listening in, and so we got quite a lot of questions in. I was expecting like one or two things, but we definitely have a full podcast, if not more, worth of questions. So, Caleb, why don't you take it away with the first one?
Well, I have a friend of mine. Should I just go with his thing on Instagram or whatever?
Yeah, sure, go.
Sure. Buddy Xavier X_man975, and he gave me a couple of questions earlier today regarding his first time going into a milsim. Does he need radio or a comm setup?
That's
All
a hard
right.
one. That's a hard one.
Do you need one?
I wouldn't
Do
say
you
you need
need
one.
it?
Is it?
Well, it depends, right? So, like, Nightfall, chain of command, right? One person per squad is the radio person. Usually.
Yeah.
You keep all the communications to a bare minimal. You get other walk-on games or whatever, and they're like, the more comms, the better. Like,
Yeah.
keep that chatter up there.
I wouldn't say it's necessary, but it's definitely recommended in just the general aspect of in case somebody's radio goes down, you can hand off radio if you're not
Exactly.
too comfortable with it.
Yeah, it's definitely something that in your airsoft career you should get one, but I wouldn't say
It's always good to have one and, like, being able to have it
Just
in
have
your
one.
kit.
Yeah. But I wouldn't say that it's like if you don't have a radio, you can't go.
No.
Like,
no, by any
I wouldn't let that hold you back from going. Definitely, it's depending on how it is too. Like some games like Nightfall, you have to stay around your squad, so someone's
Yeah.
always going to have a radio. But if you go to some of the other ones where it's
Like, lone wolfing's allowed and
yeah,
whatever.
it's not. It's a little bit more important in that, so that way you can keep in contact with people. But
Like, someone like Pete should have a radio on him at all times.
I, for one, I've been playing for going on 8 years now, and I have a radio, but do I ever use it? Nope. No, I never use it.
That's very true.
So
all right, we'll move on to the next one. But yeah, closing comments on that, just being
You don't need it, but it's definitely good to have with you.
it's recommended.
yeah.
I would say it's recommended
recommended.
for sure.
If you're going into it without anybody to talk to on that radio, you don't need it.
Yeah. If you don't have any friends, don't get a radio.
Bring a friend, then get a radio.
Someone asked, Tyler Hopper, a buddy of a buddy that helped kind of get into airsoft.
Oh, that's nice.
He asked about battery safety and gun maintenance as a new player. I know, Brad, you probably have the best experience in battery safety.
Battery safety. Get a good charger. Get a good balance charger. They run you anywhere from $50 to $100. You can balance, recharge, discharge. They tell you each cell level. Like,
Yeah.
they're worth it. Instead of getting the cheap, obviously start off with a cheap battery charger, because just to get in. But once you start buying more batteries, using your batteries more fluently, like now I can get almost 18 hours out of a single battery. Where Caleb here last year went through 10 batteries in a matter of an hour
Yeah, I'm
because
really
his
bad.
batteries were shit.
Well, the weather didn't help either.
Yeah, so with battery maintenance, if you spend that extra money on the good charger, good balanced charger, you're going to save the money in the long run on your batteries.
One thing I cannot stress enough is never run your battery completely dead, because it kills the battery. It ruins it. Once you hear your gun starting to slow down, then change your battery. Don't try to get those extra 10 rounds out to get that guy you're trying to hit. Give up. Call a hit. Pull your dead reg. Go swap a battery out. Or if you have a battery on your kit, another thing. Always carry a battery on your kit.
Or a pistol.
Or a pistol.
That's my thing.
But I'm a fan of hot swapping. I'll be in the middle of a gunfight, hot swap a battery, be good to go.
Yeah.
I've done that way too many times in my life
Yeah.
to say that's a fun thing to do.
So
You get very proficient at it.
the other side of that question was about new player gun maintenance. Like, what do they need to know?
My gun maintenance is once a year, bring it to Colin and go, you fix.
Yeah, none of us are gun techs
Yeah.
at all.
Except for Colin.
Yeah, so take it if you need some gun maintenance. Take it to Colin Brink at Niagara Quarter Airsoft.
Niagara
Quarter
Airsoft?
Whatever the
That
fuck,
one.
Quartermaster Airsoft. I don't remember.
If you got a gun, see, take it to Colin at Niagara Quartermaster.
Yeah.
At whatever that address is again.
Basically, just make sure your barrel's clean.
Yeah, pretty
Use your
basic.
jamming rod with a cloth and some silicone oil. Just clean her out.
Google or ask the people at the store, hey, how should I clean this? if you're planning on doing it on a regular basis. I never open my gun unless Colin is touching it.
If you are not comfortable cracking your gearbox open, do not. If you want to try it,
don't touch your gearbox.
If you want to try it, have a spare gun. Don't do it on your main rifle. You'll be upset.
Like taking the upper and lower receiver off to clean the barrel.
Absolutely,
that's an easy thing to do. I think.
Do not crack.
I wouldn't recommend that either.
Unless you're Mitch.
Mitch has bad luck with receivers.
But like opening other things like that, like I wouldn't
gearbox.
bother touching it. I always take my stuff to Colin. He fixes, tweaks whatever he needs to do, cleans the barrel to a beautiful shine, and it's flawless every time.
Just when in doubt, just bring it to your trusted gun tech. Like we say Colin because he's our local guy, but if you're up in Ottawa or wherever you are, take it to your trusted gun tech, guys.
So another suggestion for new players from our friend Keanu, saying to not cheap out on iPro. Buy once, cry once.
Oof, yes.
Brad.
Again with me. So I went out and I bought myself Oakley M frames. They're ballistic rated. They're
Beautiful.
military issue ones. They're great. They're fantastic. My girlfriend recently started playing and she was talking about just going to Canadian Tire, getting a set of safety glasses.
Yeah.
And I told her I would not let her be on the field without a set of ballistic rated glasses. That's my opinion. ANSI Z87's just as good, but I like the extra protection of saying it's ballistic. No BB's gonna break a ballistic glass.
You never know when bullets are flying in an airsoft game.
It's not gonna happen. So, yeah, buy once, cry once, boys.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I have the Ruger glasses I got from Christmas or whatever.
Again, they're shooting glasses though.
So yeah, I don't know. I got them for Christmas.
You get them from Bass Pro. You go to Bass Pro, go in their shooting aisles, and you can get a set of glasses that are like designed for shooting. They might not be ballistic rated, but they're ANSI Z87 plus. They're still quality glasses.
The other side of the spectrum for glasses, though, would be a lot of fields have that full seal rule.
Yeah.
Which buying shooter glasses and M frames, they are far more comfortable, far more operated.
Way cooler.
Yeah, way cooler.
Way
cooler.
But
unless you want to drop $400 on a set of Oakley Halos or whatever they are, their goggles.
From the other side of it, needing that protection, your high end is your like Smith Optics.
Smith Optics
with the goggle fan, you're spending what, like 200 or
200 roughly,
something like that.
Or even
Revisions
you can
are
get
good.
revisions are fantastic. ESS again, fantastic. There's so many different varieties of shooter glasses and ballistic goggles, ANSI Z87 goggles.
I would even say the new Pyrex goggles, they cost about $50, I think. Given to us by NQ to try out and kind of do a little bit of a review on. They performed pretty well for being a cheaper pair of goggles, for being only like $40 or $50. Now, you did really have to use an anti-fog on them. I found that fogging was kind of a big problem.
You're a big sweater. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm a big boy.
I don't have a problem with fogging because I'm a skinny boy.
But they
join the fat club, bro.
That's where I am.
You can buy special Pyrex wipes, and that kind of cleared the fogging up right away. Actually, for any goggles or anything, I'd highly recommend looking into Pyrex anti-fog wipes. I think they're like 25 cents a wipe. And all of Nightfall, the 18-hour game, I used 2 wipes on my... It was saying it was the Pyrex goggles because I was testing them out. And I think I started to fog twice, and it took care of it completely.
Another great product for anti-fog is Cat Crap. You can buy the little kit. It's a full lens cleaning kit. It comes with the microfiber, the actual drops, and I think it comes with something else.
It's a spray.
A spray, yeah.
Because I got one of those somewhere. I lost it.
But that's the only stuff. I don't fog a lot. Like, Mitchie's a big boy. Caleb's a big boy. I'm a little boy. So,
I'll say, though, with the Ruger glasses, the only time I ever fogged was when we played that night game last week when it was super humid.
Oh, that was just ridiculous.
But
Everything was fogging. My night vision was fogging, for Christ's sake.
Let's talk about new players, okay? We're not going nods today.
Well, I'm just saying. It's humid when.
Yeah.
Shit that shouldn't fog is fogging.
So speaking of protecting your eyes from BBs, what about something to make the BBs fling at you, like the magazines? What's a good magazine count? for new players. I
Oh, like how many?
6. And I've been playing for how long?
Like, so for example,
Well,
Buddy-
just to be clear though, so the question is like, how many mags should a newer player run or anyone on the field?
for like a Milsim,
For a Milsim?
right? You go to Mitch, he's carrying like 100.
Yeah, Mitch
You go
carries
to me,
8
I
boxes.
recently cut that down.
I played my fair share of Milsims, and I predominantly run 6. 5 on myself, 1 in the gun, and I have never had an issue.
I currently have 7, not 1 in the gun, because I don't use the dump pouch too often. So I like to be able to take it out and then just put it right back where I got it from. That's just kind of how I run my play.
Yeah, really, it depends on what kind of shooter you are, and what your position on the team is. Like for me, at Nightfall, I ran way too many mags, but it was
So
functional, but
How
not
many, How many
needed.
was it for everyone
I
that
ran
doesn't know?
37 mags.
That's just disgusting.
37 accessible mags.
I had
That's
10.
weird.
I had 10 on me at Nightfall, and I was like, "This is stupid."
I think I got myself up to 12 or something. Or no, 18 at one point.
Yeah.
I got
We-
to 18.
We wanted, our main goal on that game was to be able to sustain ourselves on the field as long as possible. And I didn't think I was going to go through 37 mags, but I figured I could at least share with the team when needed. And like playing that squad lead position, I wanted to be ready for everything. I even carried extra grenades for the grenade launcher that you were carrying.
I was carrying.
Yeah,
you were carrying?
I gave up
for
on that
him.
life. Yeah.
But like I got I had like a little tarp and whatever.
Yep.
Too.
It really all depends on what kind of kit you're running. Like, realistically, especially if you're playing more walk-on games or a shorter game, you don't need any more than 6.
No.
And I would say your maximum to aim for, if you really wanted to kind of be okay for every situation, would maybe be 10.
I would say limit 10 for sure.
Yeah.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Right?
10 gets a little bit excessive after that, and you also got to think of like, what are you wearing on your back? Like, all of us run backpacks, so it's very easy to throw 5-6 mags in there, and if it comes down to it,
Yeah.
you can
If
grab
it comes
it.
down to the nitty gritty, you can always grab them, but
And there's always a teammate nearby to swap mags in a quieter setting, right? Like,
it also depends on the type of player you are. Like what Caleb touched on just earlier. If you're just a run and gun, just light everything you see up, absolutely run more than a couple mags. But once you get more comfortable with your rifle and your play style, you start to pick your targets, right? You shoot at what
and
you know you
your
can hit.
Yeah, you know your limits as like for the rifle.
Like, I
right?
know I'm reaching out 300, 400 feet. Well, maybe not 400, but 300
Let's say
feet.
3.
300 easy. So if I see a guy out further than that, I might take a couple pot shots at him just to see where he's ranging.
Well,
But other than that, I'm not going to mag dump on a guy I know I'm not going to hit.
then you have
Spray,
other
bro.
players like Defect and Cauliflower who
That have a fucking 900 round a second gun.
they just,
Oh, man.
at any point in time that there's a gunfight, there are 9 mags at their feet because they've already gone through that many and the gunfight's barely started. But I have seen both of them
Hit every target.
hit a lot of shit. Like, Kyle, I was hearing hits come from places that I didn't even
that
know
was just disgusting.
there were people.
Blah, hit.
Yeah.
Where was
But
he?
that's him on semi.
Yeah,
though.
and
that's
it's on
semi.
and
He's
it's
got
on
that- he
semi-auto.
He just walks the
That
trigger and it's insane.
Crazy trigger response.
You can find a video of his rifle on the Krampus YouTube page too. I'm pretty sure.
Something like
Probably.
that. Next.
Another one comes from Shooter from One Up Airsoft. Oh, sorry, did I read that?
Shirley
yeah,
Harvey.
Yeah, sure. I didn't know if I was saying that, but yeah, from One Up Canadian Airsoft, another airsoft team from Ontario. The message is relatively long, but what it breaks down into is making sure you know your field rules before you start buying guns. As
That's
he points out,
Big one.
when some people want to buy, say, snipers because they look cool, and then realize engagement rules of different fields, right?
Yeah.
You buy a sniper and you go to a CQB field, you're screwed. I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to use it.
Yeah.
because you're gonna have 10 guys coming around a corner when you're trying to take out one.
Yeah,
And
you're gonna have to have a sidearm with that too. So
yeah, and the other thing he
price.
says too is, kind of that you don't always know the stores you're going into, and that a lot of hobby stores are kind of there looking to make the sale. So if you're a new player coming in and you say you want a sniper,
They're gonna sell you whatever
they'll
they
sell
want.
you a sniper. Depending on the store, I know the guys at NQ. They'll
Advise against it for new players just
Yeah.
because there's so many people I've seen that go and buy a bolt action rifle and they're like, it's gonna be like Call of Duty, and they get out there and then they're bored. Then a week later they're got it up on a forum trying to sell it and they're out of the sport because they got bored too fast.
Yeah, so the other side of that too would be LMGs.
Again, yeah.
Going in and buying an LMG right off the start. If you
Super
you play
cool.
some video
Super
games, you want to
expensive
be
for BBs.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing. If you're a new player and you're a younger player or a lower income player, LMGs are going to really hurt your wallet because you have to feed them, go through all those BBs.
You gotta feed the beast.
Yeah. And if you're only going to be shooting it like an assault rifle in like little bursts or anything like that, you might as well just get an M4 and save your money.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, if you go in looking for an LMG like I did, one of my first guns was an M60. And you
So cool.
you played a lot of video games, you love being that heavy gunner, stuff like that, and then you get into a game and you realize you're doing a lot of times just sitting and waiting for shit to come to you, especially if you're not part of a squad already that kind of has a plan.
Well, yeah, like last year, you played LMG like the entire time,
Yeah.
and then now this year, you swapped over to Gwen, this tiny little gun that you're
One
like,
extreme to the other on that one.
I want to get a really tiny gun and then make the rail longer.
Gwen got a boob job, okay?
I guess so.
Yeah, the other thing too that I would recommend, just from the other side of that, so you got snipers, LMGs, going for a really short gun, going for that really easy CQB style thing. If that's your first gun, I don't recommend that, because then if you're playing outdoor, you're not going to get that range that some of the other people are going to get. You're going to feel...
I would say it's field dependent. Like, if you're living out in Toronto and Siege is your go-to spot, then I would get something small and light and snappy or whatever you want.
Yeah.
But like our field and our quartermaster, it's
Name drop.
name drop.
We know them. We know Niagara Quartermaster.
They're our friends.
Simon. But our home field NQ, it's outdoors. Like primarily, you got some like buildings or whatever stuff. So yeah, there's a little bit of room clearing here and there, but like it's primarily wooden. So you're gonna want something a little bit longer, like more of AR, maybe even DMR style, like mine is.
I've always been accustomed to like finding that middle ground. I myself run a Mark 18, so it's a 9.5-inch rail with a 10.5-inch barrel.
I do not know anything about my gun.
It's a little longer than obviously Gwen because the thing's a chode, but and then it's still
sure my rail's 8 inches.
it's still shorter than what Caleb's got, the Franken gun. If you've seen it, it has no idea what it is.
It's confused,
But
it's going through a transition phase.
It's still a rifle you can whip around corners, but I'm still, like I said earlier, I'm getting 300 feet of range with it. That's with upgraded barrel grouping and whatnot. But regardless, you still get the range, and then you still have a tight enough rifle where you can still throw it around a corner if you need to. That's just my opinion.
But there is another side of that, and that being, if you really, really want an LMG or you really want a sniper, don't go out and buy an M4 just because. If you are actually like that limited on income, if you don't want to make that mistake,
Yeah.
if you buy an M4 and you're not going to have the fun because you wanted to sit down and try and do like Chris Kyle stuff, you're going to have a less of a good experience because you're kind of trying to conform and
Fit in
play
with the
it
norm.
safe.
Yeah.
Buy what you want at the end of the day. Like, I've seen Caleb play at NQ with a shotgun and just
I love that thing.
demolish people
It's
with
great time.
LMGs and whatnot. It all depends on your play style and
Yeah,
how
like-
aggressive you want to be.
Like if you're sitting there and you really, really want this as your first gun or whatever, if you have other guns and you're thinking about maybe trying out an LMG or sniper, 100% go get it all the time. It's more of an issue of when it's your first gun and you don't have the income to maybe realize that it's not what you want to do. Because you could buy a sniper and it's exactly what you were looking for.
Well,
or
again, with snipers, though, sorry to cut you off.
Fine.
But again, with snipers, is you're going to drop, say, $400 on a sniper, and you think because it's a sniper, you're going to be ranging out. You're not. You're going to have to drop quite a bit of money into a sniper rifle to get it shooting quality.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen people do it.
You have to. Because I have 2 bolt actions. One of them doesn't work, but
I have no idea where mine is.
Mine shoots well. It's not shooting amazingly, but hell, if we're friends on the field and you want to try out a bolt action for a game or two, give me a call. I'll bring it out and you can try it. Shotgun, maybe someone's LMGs, who knows?
Yeah, actually, realistically, I didn't even think of that.
We have a little bit of everything on the team.
Yeah, if you're listening to this and there is something you want to try and you're a new player that hasn't bought yet, send us a message. We'll definitely be able to help you out, get you out playing with something. I think we have 9 LMGs altogether on the team. We got.
I'll let you run my personal rifle if you want to see what that's like too. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, even if you do have your own M4 or whatever, but you want to try an LMG for a change, just to see if you like it, or sniper. I have no issues with letting it out. I don't want to put you guys on the spot.
No,
I have no problem with that. That's
or even just rocking a helmet with a GoPro and stuff. That's a huge game changer in the playstyle because you got that weird top heavy weight.
So the other side of that question from Shooter and from number 2, is that the call sign of a guy?
Is there another
Shout
number
out
2?
to the Nomads from number 2. Who's that?
What is that?
From One Up Kings. I have no idea.
All right, Shooter and hopefully number 2, or is it just 2, or is it a second in command?
Maybe a second command. I don't know. It sounds like him and Carly are gonna fight.
Anyways, to finish the question from the One Up Airsoft guys, that sounds a little bit safer. It was talking about how some hobby stores can really be in it just for the sale, and we've all heard about that stuff before.
That's horror stories, man. I've heard them.
You've heard them from everyone. Now, obviously, a lot of them are easily solvable by the player.
Yeah. If you're not comfortable, just don't go with it.
If you feel like you're being forced into buying something, don't buy it. It goes for anything in your life. If you feel like you go to buy a new car, you're being forced into it, don't buy the vehicle.
Yeah.
It's the same goes for everything.
And where we've seen it too before, even at our own sponsor store, we've seen people post saying that they didn't get what they wanted, or they didn't do that, whatever, they got talked into something and it wasn't what they said it was going to be, something like that. A lot of people will just go straight to the internet to start posting instead of trying to contact the store, kind of figure out. And there's a lot of times where you might try and fix something and there's nothing they're going to do for you. So then write your review or whatever. And this goes for any store at all.
Even for fields,
fields, anything. Don't jump right to
Don't go right for the throat.
Yeah, don't go right to being an internet warrior just because you didn't get your way. Yeah, you didn't get your way. If you buy something and you get it home and it turns out that maybe it's broke, or
I've had multiple rifles right from the distributor that's broken. That's not the store's fault.
It happens.
It's a shipping issue. It's the way they're shipped. It's so much stuff in between. But if you're to contact the store and say something, it's usually easily fixable. And if you buy a rifle from a store and it's broken out of the box the first time you try and use it, and the store doesn't do anything about it, well, fuck them. 100% jump on, start
go right
talking
for the
shit.
throat, rip that throat out.
But I remember I had I bought a Jag Arm shotgun, and right out of the box.
The same time that we bought one.
Yeah, we all.
Oh yeah, I did. Mine's sitting beside my nightstand.
I
never used
looked at Teresa. I'm like, please, we have to put this.
If you haven't noticed too, when we buy something, we all buy the same thing together.
Nomad's a fucking cult.
It's a cult. We drank the Kool-Aid, guys.
Catch up on the Hawaiian shirts. What's up?
No. This doesn't have to be in this podcast, but I did buy a Hawaiian shirt.
Nice. Amazoning right now.
I am an operator
it's
now.
It's Prime Day, boys.
But so unless the store's trying to force you into buying a Hawaiian shirt, there's always ways around problems. But what I was saying with my Jag Arms is, I bought it. I got it out. It had a leak in it, and then I think used it for like 15 minutes, and then it was leaking. And I got in touch with the owner. I said what was going on, and it was fixed. And it turned out that it wasn't fixed after all, and it turned into a long ordeal.
A dispute.
It wasn't. It was very orderly. It's just like cars and other things like that. Like if something's wrong, you might think you fixed it, and then it turns out it's not. It's good to go. Like as long as you get in contact with people. Mm-hmm. Are you buying a shirt?
I'm buying a shirt.
What color did you get?
Speak. I got.
Get a large.
I'm not gonna get it. I'm a very small human. I'm getting that
for
one.
me,
Nice.
dingus.
Jesus. So yeah, we're trying to do a podcast, and you guys are ordering Hawaiian shirts.
It's Amazon Prime Day.
It is Amazon Prime Day. But yeah, so just the end of that is there are going to be some shady dealers, and really, I don't personally trust buying things online.
Yeah, that's a whole different beast.
Or buying from some other player that you don't know. I thought I was doing a super sweet deal in a pistol trade because I wanted to get a Glock again, and just for like team purposes. Made the trade. It was supposed to be like HK whatever crap, and like the outside of it was, but the inside was WE, and I was like, oh well, I can't bring it back to the kid because I already tried. Was like the stippling. I already was stippling the grip and stuff, so I already
modified.
Yeah, you already
modified it, right? So it's like I'm mad at myself.
I've had multiple interactions with selling stuff. I sold a rifle. It was an Ares Amoeba with the built-in MOSFET. I sold it to a guy who was in Ottawa. So he was actually down, so he bought it. He went back up to Ottawa, and it turns out the MOSFET burnt out of it. Now me, being the good-hearted person I am, I told him to go buy a MOSFET, and I'd send him whatever it cost. But in that scenario, I could have been the biggest dick ever and just been like, tough titty, you get what you get kind of thing. But there are people out there like that.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, if you do buy used, because there are sometimes you'll find way better deals than you would find in a store and stuff like that, but you want to get more into the community, kind of know the people you're buying from.
Get it checked out by a gun tech.
Give the person you buy the gun off of the benefit of the doubt if something's not quite right. Like if you buy something off a guy and you get it and then it's all fucked up or varying degrees of fucked up, don't just go
varying degrees of fucked up. All across the platform, it's fucked.
Well, I mean, if you order get an M4 and it shows up just all IKEA'd on you.
If it looks like my gun, you might want to go.
Yeah, you might want to think twice.
But contact the seller, talk to him first.
Be a rational adult.
Yeah,
don't be a child.
Don't just jump on to the internet and start
trying to get something
away.
Banned, yeah. And also, if the deal is too good to be true, it probably is.
On the other hand, some people just need money because, or it's stolen.
So it's too good to be true.
They could need some drug money. You don't know.
It is Welland after all.
Not always Welland. We are in Welland.
We are in Welland, so.
But it's not always Welland's
fault. It's always Welland's
What I'd recommend in that side, like if the deal looks too good to be true, which if it is, usually is, and you get
just look at the person's profile picture.
And the product's fine, and it does, this happened in our community, and it does turn out to be a stolen weapon, and you see that, then you should be the reasonable person that says, hey, I bought this.
It is stolen.
And like, if you buy $1,000 gun for $300,
it's stolen or broken.
It's probably stolen, and the person doesn't know what it is. And then you find out that was a stolen rifle. You're kind of obligated as like not a shitty guy. Yeah. Because if you don't return stolen stuff, you could never be a great fucking guy.
Yeah, you can never be like Anthony and be a great fucking guy.
So do that, because that's something that's come up in the in our community here on a couple occasions now.
Welland.
That's just part of living in Welland. Another question being things that you will need to play your first game and what you won't need, such as chest rigs and iPro.
Well, you're gonna need.
You need iPro.
Yeah.
You need
gonna
a
need a
rifle.
gun.
Yeah, you need a gun.
You're gonna need at least a couple magazines or a high cap.
One high
yeah,
cap.
your first game,
Hate those
and so
things,
not
but-
talking
Tactical
trying to
maracas.
get into.
What's that?
I've never heard them called that.
Tactical maracas.
Yeah, I've never heard them called that.
I heard like baby shakers or whatever.
So it's your first game ever. Just to get out on the field, just to play, you're going to need your iPro.
Yeah, you're gonna need a gun.
And, well, something that I also think is kind of usually overlooked is some kind of mouth pro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Whether it be
good
face mesh-
boots,
Yeah.
comfy boots. Don't go. I guess
That's where you're playing,
If
too.
you go out there in steel toes, if they're comfortable, go ahead.
Jared
But I've
wears
seen
steel toes.
so
Say
many
more-
people just complain about their feet being sore and stuff.
Appropriate
footwear.
'Cause
Don't
if
go
you're
out there in
playing If you're
Nikes.
playing indoor, Nikes are...
Yeah, no, yeah.
I mean,
I'm
they're
speaking.
soft, I
I'm
wear
speaking
Nikes.
from like field experience, like at NQ, like other fields we've played at. Don't show up in running shoes and then complain that you stepped in a knee full of mud. If you're going knee deep in mud, don't wear running shoes. It's gonna suck regardless.
Yeah. Been
But
there.
losing your $160 pair of Nikes in the mud is gonna suck even more.
Don't be upset your pants are wet if you're waist deep in a pond.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so...
like I do, I go swimming, but I don't complain about being wet.
top to bottom, bare necessities. Only thing you're gonna need to play like your absolute first game. Head-wise, you're gonna need a
Just a hat.
stay the course best hat that you could find. You're gonna need iPro, some Oakley M frames with a Helo kit.
Yeah. yeah.
You're gonna need shot.
For your first game, just go drop like $3,000 and you're set for your
3
first
to
game.
4, you should be fine. Like, you're gonna
fine.
need really
you're gonna
good-
need night vision. You need night vision for your first game.
Yeah, you're gonna want some like
Obviously,
PTS
during the
15s,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
Sentinels. You're gonna need, if you're not wearing a Cry Precision BDU, you might as well just fuck
And
off.
if you don't have the CPC
Yeah.
on, I don't even want to talk to you.
or
Get out of here.
JPC.
JPC is good, but they're like down here where
Yeah.
the CPC is like $800-900
If you got
just for a
anything that
plate
says
carrier.
trooper, get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to see any Condor stuff.
Gun wise, you're pretty much not going to want to have anything that's under that like $1,500 mark.
Yeah, no, you need. Yeah. It's the only way to play your first game.
You need some Persec belt in there.
Yeah, you gotta have a Persec 2 to your belt.
Perfect.
Gotta
You
have that.
have to. First game, first time out on the field, boots on the ground. If you don't have that, go home.
Tag's still on because you're probably gonna want to return it all by the end of the game.
Yeah, keep the tags on all
Yeah,
these.
keep the tags on everything.
But no, to be realistic, the only things you need,
There's a rifle and iPro.
rifle and iPro, and I would very much suggest Mouth Pro.
Well,
Getting shot in the teeth
If you don't,
sucks.
if you don't have
How
good
about-
dental, wear face cage.
How about a paintball mask for all those new players?
Yeah, there you go.
Paintball mask. Perfect.
Paintball mask, a rifle with a high cap.
You don't
Yeah,
want
so
to
say an
rock
operational rifle. Like one,
Yeah.
you're gonna need a battery. You don't need 2 batteries for your first game.
No,
Go-
buy 2 batteries. Get 2
No,
batteries.
for your very first game.
Get 2 batteries right off the get go. I'm sorry. Get 2 batteries.
Get 20 if you're me.
A lot of times, I know for a fact when I first started, I went to Niagara Quartermasters and by fluke I bought a rifle. And Simon, being the awesome businessman he is, he sold me the full platform, everything, rifle, chest rig, battery, charger, and I think I had iPro at the point. Again, starting with just whatever you have on hand for iPro. You don't need the best of the best to get going. And he sold me all that for one package deal, and then I bought an extra battery on top of that. And keep in mind, too, a high cap mag comes with all rifles. That's standard. You always have a mag with a rifle. So
to help with the new players, I'm pretty sure Niagara Quartermaster actually does have a bundle pack that they kind of
I'm not
Yeah,
sure on
I
price
wouldn't-
point, but like it's not
Yeah, if you
outrageous.
check out Niagara Quartermaster, I wouldn't recommend checking out their online store if you know exactly what you're looking for. I'd recommend calling in. They're-
going to the stop.
Yeah, their
store, talk to
stock.
them.
Like you can go online and check their stuff, but their stock isn't always exactly the same as what they have in.
It takes a while to update and whatnot.
Yeah, so if there's something you're looking for, and actually while we're doing this, if someone could look up the number, that'd be great.
Brad, you're on your phone.
I'm on my phone.
Yeah, and a lot of other stores would do that too. I know we're not as close with other stores, but whatever your local store is, give them a call. Say, what can I do for a starter package? Another thing moving down the body, though, that was asked is, do you need a chest rig? Before we do that, though, my
If you don't have mags to fill your chest rig, you do not need a chest rig.
My lovely associate has provided me with a number for Niagara Quartermaster.
Secretary.
It is 1-905-53. Fuck, that's too many fives. Let me start again. 1-905-397-5684. Thank you.
My secretary.
Yeah.
I need glasses and long, pointy fingernails now.
There's no fuck, that's too many fives in that number. But no, get a hold of them, go in. But also, your other local stores are gonna have deals like that. Like it's not like that's an only NQ thing.
No reputable store. You're gonna walk and be like, "I'm new. I want to start," and they're gonna be like, "Here's $4,000 in gear. This is what you need to start." No, if they do that, throw punch them and walk out.
We're also not sponsored by any other airsoft store, so why talk about them?
Yeah, fuck those stores.
For all intended purposes, only NQ has those deals.
Yeah, and only NQ sells anything to do with airsoft in Canada.
And you see us behind the counter once in a while.
Yeah.
And Canadian Tire.
We're not supposed to be there, but we're there.
First airsoft game, you're going to want to go to Canadian Tire. You're going to want to get a clear
Soft!
No, you're going to want to get pool noodles and some PVC pipe.
At the zombie game last year, I won the little Springer pistol, the clear soft thing they had.
It's broken.
I was so sad it broke.
So
I
anyways,
used it, though.
Back to chest rig.
Oh, yeah, just right question.
First game ever, like Brad was saying, if you don't have mags to fill it, you don't
Need it.
You don't need it. No way.
Now, if you've gone out and bought 4 to 6 mags, because you're getting into it, you want to be prepared. You're not just only buying the bare minimums.
Absolutely.
I would definitely recommend a chest rig. Personally, I'd recommend a plate carrier. I like my plate carriers better.
A lot of people don't like the sweatiness of the plate carrier.
And
I like my plate
also
carriers
depends.
too, but I also run a chest rig at night just to take the weight off. That's a different story again.
What would you
I
call
run a
the
plate
old
carrier.
Condor things that you
The
got?
vest?
Yeah.
Oh, those are, yeah, it's just like a
the
vest.
tactical zip vest.
No,
Not
I had.
even.
Oh, don't
it was
buy
a
those.
plate carrier style, but it didn't actually take plates.
Yeah. It's so weird.
But the other thing too,
Plate carriers are nice.
Alice vest, is that what you're talking about?
I don't know. Look at what you want, and this is just
If it looks cool, buy it. When in doubt, rule of thumb, airsoft's all about looking cool. If you can't play well, at least you look cool.
But
80% cool, 20% practical.
like
Yeah.
boys, I'm gonna be honest. Daddy's body doesn't look good in a chest rig.
no, it looks like we're using tactical bra.
Daddy has the body where he buys a chest rig and attaches it to plate
Yeah, I
carrier.
love chest rigs. I just connect them to my plate carrier. Like so look at it that way. Like, because you want to be out there looking on the field. And if you're a bigger boy, you got a little meat to you. Unless you have like the utmost confidence, they're like good for you. Wear whatever you want. I'm just saying that. Yet, if you're a little bit self-conscious about it, chest rig is not going to do you any favors.
Yeah, no. You're not going to like the way it fits your curves.
But also,
It'll hold you in.
the opposite side of that, though,
It's lightweight.
a plate carrier like mine, actually probably not the one I have right now, but like some of my older ones, if a guy with Brad's body type, who like slender, smaller guy,
Real small physique.
real small,
Ladylike physique.
very
Feminine-like.
like if you're a little piece of shit.
Little piece of shit.
If you're a little Brad or a Chad,
Little Brad or Chad.
But no, something that I wear, Brad's going to be swimming in, and that's going to look also just as stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
because plate carriers do also come in
And
large, medium, small sizes or whatever.
If you buy a plate carrier, cinch it up properly. Look online, because if you have it
Learn it.
slopping around like some players we're not going to mention.
Belts.
Okay, not necessary when you're brand new.
No,
to the
you
game.
don't need a belt off the get-go. A belt to hold your pants up, for
Yeah.
sure, but you don't need a tactical belt where it's all the fancy two-tier Velcro. No, you don't need that.
No,
you don't need that.
A sturdy, like if you're new but you have a pistol and stuff like that, having some kind of a sturdy belt is like a sturdier belt than like a thin leather one or whatever is nice. But
One thing, Caleb mentioned pistols and being new. If you're buying a pistol and you're a new player,
so
don't buy a soft holster.
hey,
Buy a Cytec or a Blackhawk. Yeah, they're not the most
If you're a new player.
well talked about. They're $60. It's better than putting a $200 pistol in a soft holster, losing it on the field your first game, and never finding it again. I'd rather spend $60
like
than
every
lose it.
single new player.
Exactly.
If you're a new player, I wouldn't recommend buying a pistol right off the start.
No, but some
depending
people
on
do.
your budget. Some
people do though, right? And you got like I don't know how
realize-
many times I've seen people almost in tears because they just lost a $300 pistol that they thought was the coolest thing in the world because they bought a soft holster.
What with that kid's mom who's like, has anyone found a High Kappa magazine? My son lost it. I was like, oh, the poor kid.
Yeah, that kid's going home and he's hating life for the next year because he just lost something that was
Yeah, just like your father.
You're just like your father.
But like I don't recall losing a magazine. Apparently I did the other week.
I've lost 2 Glock mags.
NQ found it and was like, if you know the number, letter number combo on the back of it, let us know. I'm like, oh, it's mine.
You can still. I shouldn't say you can't lose stuff when you got a hard shell holster or hard shell magazine carriers.
The chances are low though.
Chances are low, but 8 years playing now, and I've never lost a mag or a pistol. Nightfall, I lost 2 Glock mags out of Kydex holsters. I saved the one for you because I threw it back at you. I watched it; it almost fell.
Should
on
have
my
just
head.
kept it yourself.
Yeah, I should have kept it because I need 2 Glock mags now. But that's a whole different story. That's for episode 8.
Like I was saying, though, if you're a new player and you are, a lot of this is budget perspective because there are a lot of people in the community that they can go out and buy whatever the fuck they want right off
You
the
can
start.
go and drop $800.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect you if you don't like it.
If you
just
have
buy
that
something
financial
else.
freedom, give her.
Yeah, but if you don't, which is a lot of this is geared towards, because a lot of newer players are either kids getting into the sport, stuff like that.
Or like a dad that has a free Sunday now finally. And
Or
he's
even
just,
if
like,
you have the financial freedom, but you have your
But you're money
significant
conscious,
other,
yeah.
doesn't want you, whatever, stuff like that.
Just don't tell your
buying-
significant other.
Yeah, buying a pistol right off the start, I wouldn't say is a necessity to get it in play. It's definitely welcome and a really cool thing to have. But if you only have $500 and your pistol's $200,
You can spend $200 on a lot better options than just a pistol.
Well, I mean, I got pretty lucky. Halfway through my first year playing airsoft, I bought a pistol, and I've been running that pistol ever since.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before. That gun is just don't ever
beautiful.
touch it.
I touch it all the time.
my
Don't
first
ever pull
pistol,
it apart.
I've only had 2. My first pistol, which I actually gave to a new player.
Just gave it away?
Yeah, I gave it to Mike. Caesar.
Ah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Extreme 45.
Good lord.
Do they even make those
No,
anymore?
they do not. They're discontinued.
You might want it back.
or you look at me, and I bought a Glock 17 and decided to dump a lot of money into it. And that thing has seen the shot more times than it's seen the field.
Yeah.
That's going to be a topic for another
Yeah.
podcast.
Probably
You and I will have that one.
Yeah, we'll have
maybe.
that talk. Good experience and terrible experience on pistols.
Yeah, but I don't know if Caleb, if you had any other main questions. We had tons come in. Obviously, trying to keep the podcast at a reasonable time is going to.
Well, a lot of the questions I got were mostly from this Xavier guy, and he is going to an event this weekend.
Okay.
So we wanted some stuff answered, so I did answer a few.
Is there anything else on there that was?
questions? Comms already talked about. He was saying for a 24-hour event, should he be concerned about sleeping time?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Having a sleeping bag or whatever.
If it's your first big game, let's say 24 hours, like Xavier said. If it's 24 hours and it's your first game, don't be afraid to sleep. Anybody that tells you you need to play the full game, stick your foot in their ass. I have been playing, maybe not literally, it might smell bad afterwards, but regardless. I've been playing a long time. Caleb's been playing a long time. Mitch has been playing a long time. There's some games where we're just beat. You want to have a couple hours of sleep. It's the human body. If your body's telling you to sleep, don't deny your body sleep. Because don't forget, you need to go home the next day.
Yeah. If you're not driving, push the limits.
Yeah, man,
Do what
like,
you want.
If
Yeah.
it's your first 2, I wouldn't recommend drinking a keg before the game.
Yeah, don't do that. Only the experience can do that. I'm
Don't
sorry.
hang out with us. Then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't.
No, but always come prepared for that. And like, Milsim is a totally different beast than going to walk-on, especially when it comes to your first game. You could have been playing walk-ons for a couple
5
years
and then jump
and then
into
you
a
start
Milsim.
to get into Milsims, and it's still a totally different animal. Like you're going to need more equipment. I still Carly and I still, after every game, we say, well, we could probably use this. We could probably use this. Like, we haven't got...
Every year I finish it off with, you know what? I'm going to do this for
What
next
can make
year.
my life easier during the game?
Bring coffee.
Coffee.
yeah.
And another thing is, too, if you're playing a milsim in, let's call it the rain months, bring rain gear.
Yeah.
Be prepared. Bring food. Bring water. Bring rain gear. Bring a tent. Bring a tarp even. Don't show up to a game with no food, no water, for one. That's your own fault.
At least 2 cases of water.
2 cases of water, man. Like, if you don't use it all, you can take it home, take it for lunch at work. Give
it to other players.
Give it to other players. You see somebody red in the face, give them water. You see somebody kind of being exhausted, give them food. Also, high sodium content.
Salt, sodium, protein.
No sugar.
What?
No sugar.
Fruit cups, though.
No sugar.
I love fruit cups.
Natural sugar, sure, but don't be eating sour keys and shit like that.
Oh,
You're gonna
no.
destroy your body.
No, fruit cups.
You
are
need
definitely the best way to do it.
you need the substance to be able to play these games. But don't show up to games not prepared.
Like canned peaches.
If you think you're over prepared, add more.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, this goes for walk-ons as well. If you're at a
Water, guys, water.
it's an easy one.
At the bare minimum, your body needs water.
If you get to a point that you don't think you can play anymore, or even you don't want to push yourself anymore, especially at Milsims, let someone know. Let your commander know, let your team lead know, say, hey, I can't do this anymore, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm going to bed. That's perfectly reasonable. At the end of the day, it's a game.
Don't just disappear.
As long as you're telling...
Don't just disappear.
Don't just disappear. Yeah. No one knows if you're out on the field, if you're back. It's hard for planning because Milsims really get into the command having a role of planning something.
And besides that point, if you just disappear, man, your squad doesn't know if they left you in a dark hole somewhere where you need help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and walk-ons are a really good situation for this too. Like, if you're leaving the field, whether it be early or you just don't want to play, you're sitting around out, let someone know. Let one of the refs know, so that way they're not back at CP trying to set up a game.
Trying to do head counts, and meanwhile there's 5 guys they think are in.
Yeah, they're either out in the field or they don't know the teams are even, now they're not. They don't know if they got to wait to rebalance, things like that. So,
and also, if you're going to a Milsim and you're not winning, don't leave 3 hours in.
Yeah.
It ruins the game for everybody.
Yeah, that's
the May game we did, or
it's just in general. I've seen it. Yeah. I've seen it too many times. Great games. Yeah, one team might be just steamrolling, but all it takes is one squad to say, "I'm bored. I'm going to bed."
Yeah,
and then your team can just steamroll through all the checkpoints.
Yeah,
don't leave halfway through. Don't leave early. If you want to leave before raffle, sure. Absolutely. Just don't leave during the game.
Chance of winning
don't leave during the game, man. Just don't do it. It looks bad on you. It looks bad on your team. Looks bad on your whole squad.
If you leave a game because you can't play anymore, like physically, whatever, that's fine. But if you leave because you're losing,
that's
you're a poor sport.
Yeah.
But that's actually going to be one of the things that come up in one of our next topics on our podcast. Is actually Keanu from CDC that suggested that. So hopefully it'll probably be him that's on talking about that. But I think it's about time we bring a guest on. I'm fairly certain I know who the guest is, but I don't want to say a name in case I do a cut here and it's not him. But anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in with Brad and Caleb and I shooting the shit about new players. The other thing, too, is if you ever have any questions, it doesn't need to be on a podcast. Send our page, comment on anything. Send...
Nomad Airsoft.
Anything under Nomad, just even if you send a personal message to any of us, we're going to respond. We're not going to be dicks. We're going to help you out. If I can't help you out, if Mitch can't help you out, if Caleb can't help you out,
you're
probably fucked. Or we'll send you to the spouses because they take care of us.
Well, I would definitely go to like the main Facebook page or the main Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ask there because a bunch of us have access to it. Yeah. So if someone doesn't know, others will. And you'll get an answer one way or another.
But I know I've been in a situation where I'm like, I'm just going to send this person a message and not think about it. Just send us a message.
The other thing, too, is don't be afraid to get involved in your community and ask other people at the field.
Ask questions, always.
No one's going to think like if you're at a field and someone thinks that you're stupid because you ask a question,
They're stupid.
yeah, they're the kind of nice, nice boys. They're the kind of players that the community doesn't need, and they'll get routed out one way or another. Like, just ask people.
The weeds will always be plucked somehow.
Yeah, and I feel with airsoft and starting in airsoft, it is a very expensive sport to start. Maintaining the sport, a lot cheaper. But like a lot of newer airsoft experiences is trial by error. That's how Brad learns. That's how I learn. How Mitch learns.
I've had so much kit.
as a newer player, don't be afraid to ask someone who, from Nomad or whatever team that's out there that looks like they kind of know what they're doing. They're like, hey, how long have you been playing? And they answer, oh, since last week. They're like, oh, they might not know what they're doing. They're like, oh, I've been playing for a year or two or whatever. I was like, cool. Like, ask questions then. Don't be afraid to ask a question because last thing someone else wants to do is have someone else make bad decisions to spend more money on kit or whatever that they need.
Yeah, for the most part, everyone wants to grow the community.
Yeah. Going with what Caleb and Mitch said too, like, you're going to go to the field, you're going to look at teams are going to be intimidating. I know I've been told by newer players that when we all show up as a group, we're intimidating because we're
so scary.
We're fully kitted out. We got all the stuff we need and stuff and whatnot. But you get the newer players and they're intimidated by that because they think that they're the best of the best. We're just a bunch of goofballs that drink too much and like to play toy guns.
Yeah, we're far from the best.
Nobody takes us seriously. We don't take ourselves seriously.
What's scary?
Come talk to us.
Scary fact: people are starting to say that my gun looks good.
That's terrifying.
They're lying to your face.
Yeah, they're lying to your face. It's like saying the ugly person's got a great personality. It's just because they're ugly.
Yeah.
Just remember, every day that you're out there playing airsoft, even if you have no idea what you're doing, you still look cooler than kids that play paintball.
Yeah, exactly.
There it is, boys. Had a great time with you guys.
I'm glad to be back.
Glad to be on it finally.
Yeah, great.
Oh yeah.
I haven't been here. I'm just here. I came here to stay awake.
Yeah, really hope to get all the members from the team on, but from the bottom of our hearts, guys, have a great fucking day.